and welcome to today's video, which I know you saw the title of and you're like, Ashley, why have you been withholding this information from us? And honestly, I don't know. I really don't know. But I have a lot of stories that I want to share because if you don't know, I went to Vidcon this past June. It was my first time there as a creator, as a fan, as someone with major imposter syndrome and anxiety. So as you can tell, that was a great combination. I originally was gonna vlog the whole experience, just, framing it as like, this is my first time here, come backstage with me, kind of a thing. But I was so overwhelmed. I don't think I physically could have vlogged, even if I forced myself to do it. But thankfully, my best friend who went, who just started a channel, Mr. Jacob, which if you've watched this channel, you know him. He ended up vlogging the whole experience and you can go see a lot of the clips there. I am gonna show a couple just little things here and there, just so you can get a visual of what I'm talking about. But if you wanna see the whole experience and the whole journey, definitely go check out his channel, subscribe, tell him I sent you. Anyway, so VidCon, still don't even know how I went. Will I go next year? That depends on other people, not me. It was fun. I'm just overwhelmed even thinking about it. Did you just see that? That was panic that just went over my face. But I definitely want to talk about everything that happened at VidCon as someone who has wanted to go ever since 2014, I want to say. Do you remember when Tyler Oakley, Troye Sivan, all the UK YouTubers would hang out at VidCon and vlog and just make it look so much fun? Ever since then, I've wanted to go, whether it was as a fan, as a creator, whatever. And for some reason, this was the year it was gonna happen. I found out, get this, because VidCon is in June, right? I found out all the way back at the end of January that I was going. From there, maybe to a month before VidCon actually happened was just pure planning, which is crazy because obviously it's a big convention. There's a lot of people going, there's a lot of moving parts, but I never expected it to be such a insane process. You get different forms and you have to do consent forms, and then you have to say, as a featured creator, this, that, whatever, do you want to do a meet and greet? Do you want to do something on the main stage? Do you want to do a panel? Do you even want to sell merch? There's so many options that you really can customize your whole experience, and that was wild. I do not envy the person that had to do everyone's schedule. That sounds like hell on earth. Girl, I could barely remember my own. I couldn't even imagine. But anyway, I just wanted to talk about, my experience there, what's happened, creators that I saw that I think you definitely should continue supporting because they're actually really nice in person, and other people who were maybe a little questionable. Ooh, drama, I know. But to bring it back to when I found out, it's my favorite story, honestly. It's so funny to me. I was laying in bed because I was sick. I had that stomach flu thing that was going around, and I'm just laying in bed and my manager Gianni calls, and Gianni doesn't really just call out of the blue unless it's something big or something super important. So I was like, okay, I need to get on the phone. So, I answer the phone, I'm like, hello, just totally sick, gross, not even a person at that point. And we talked for a second and then he goes, can you hear that in the background? And then he stops talking. I'm listening. And I'm like, oh yeah, I hear that. Oh, I know that annoying sound anywhere. That's my voice. You're listening to one of my videos. Why am I listening to a video of mine on the phone? That's not why you called. Then he gets back on the phone and he goes, oh, that's the voice of a featured creator at this year's VidCon. Kind of a slay, right? And I filmed my immediate reaction to it too. I'm ill. I'm fighting for my life right now. But tell me why my manager just called me and told me I'm gonna be a featured creator at VidCon. What? And apparently they asked and they want me there. Little old me? What? I genuinely was in so much shock, and I still am, that I was allowed on the premise, if I'm being completely honest. I told my mom, told my sister, told my friends, who the majority of them went with me, which was really nice because I didn't realize how overwhelmed I would be. So having them there who understood for the most part how I was feeling, because there was times where they're like, go talk to someone, and I'm like, I can't do that. I physically cannot do that because in my head, I don't want to be annoying. I don't want to be I don't even know how to explain it. Someone who is still a fan that somehow got a badge. Like, I don't know. It was just like, I didn't want to be perceived as anything but an equal. And I didn't feel like, if I'm being honest, I'm at the point where I could be perceived as an equal. Like, I still just felt so beneath everybody. And that's so sad because I literally have a badge. I literally have a badge that says featured creator, government name and all. And I'm still like, I don't belong here. But that's my brain. Hi, nice to meet you. Let's get into like the actual convention, right? Because that's what we're here for. We're not here for therapy. The hotel's paid for, so you don't pay for that. You don't pay for your flight, and you don't pay for like the car service from the airport to the hotel. I was so ready to jump into a Lyft and be like, all right, so I'm going to this convention. Somehow, like, take me there. And that wasn't the case at all. So the day of the flight, which was very interesting. So many like white businessmen were on my flight. I was like, where are you going? Like, this photo literally looks like a copy and paste. But anyway, get on the flight, get off the flight. It was a cute little trip. I had Davis with me, which was so incredibly great because it's just nice to have some sort of grounding when you're doing a big experience like this. We get off the flight and I get a text from the car service and it's this guy and he's like, hey, my name's Richard. Like, I'm gonna meet you at this carousel because that's where your bag's gonna come. And I was like, okay. And I was so scared because I was like, what if Richard, like, I start talking about what I do? Because I have had this conversation so many times and it's either a really good or bad thing. Like, it's genuinely one or the other of like, oh yeah, you know, I do YouTube and I like watch movies and TV and talk about music on this one and just like vlog my little silly life. And I make money doing that. And half the people are like, that's so cool. And the other half are like, that's not a real job. I was like, where's Richard gonna be? Especially with the name. I was like, okay, it's gonna be an older man. He might not be down with it. But he was so cool. I love Richard. It was such a lovely car ride. Lovely car ride. Ooh. She's British. And yeah, he was super cool. He was talking about like how he would drive around other musicians and like other YouTubers that he's met. And like, he just was a really good time to the point after we got to the hotel, I was like, well, I hope I see you again because the car service he was with was doing the whole event. And he's like, yeah, you know, there's a lot of cars, so like we might not run into each other, blah, blah, blah. But we did. We ended up seeing him again and I get in the car. I was like, I'm gonna sit in the front and talk to my bestie, Richard. I was like, hey, Richard. He's like, hey, like, cause I told him it was my first time there. He's like, so how's it going? Are you enjoying it? I'm like, Richard, let me be honest. I'm overwhelmed, but it's fun. Great soul. Love Richard. So good. He drops us off at the hotel and at this point I'm freaking out already because we're like driving the corner to the hotel and we're going to like the drop off section and I'm just seeing creators everywhere. And I immediately was like, woo, imposter syndrome, helmet on. And I'm like in my little like Adidas sweatpants, I have a hat on, I have brows on. Not much makeup, but I had brows, so that was a plus because my whole plan was, I'm totally going off topic here, but my whole plan was like, get to the hotel, we'll get ready because there was like a little party that night. So I didn't want to like be wearing the same makeup all day and like be gross and crusty by the time we went out. See what it, yeah. But then I didn't account for like the actual hotel walk, like going through the lobby and like going to the elevators and actually being in the same vicinity as so many people that I watch or know of. We go into the hotel and they have like this room that you go and check in. So that's where I was able to go get my badge. And then they put this little wristband on you and you literally, like legally, cannot take this off the entire time you're there. And I'm so confused on how this works. So this thing is water resistant. And this little part right here, which like sounds like plastic, has like a chip in it that you like scan yourself in and out of buildings like as you go and as you complete your schedule. I was so afraid to shower with this the first night because I was like, I'm gonna mess it up. It never got ruined. Technology? Crazy. But I am gonna insert just like a little clip right here because it was so sweet. Jacob and Emily actually got me like a little gift for my first VidCon. Yay! If you cry, I'll be pissed.
We're all so proud of you.
I cried this morning. I can't cry again. Yeah, the hotel room was super nice. Like, I ended up getting free stuff because why not? I have the title of featured creator, I guess. So now I get free stuff. I got like this little bag. I got a water bottle that said, or like a hydro thing that said featured creator. I got a little thing from Tumblr. And meanwhile, like I'm sitting there trying to get ready because we're going to this party. Let me tell you, there's like a party every night of VidCon. And this was like, you know, the first night party, so it's a big deal. Or I don't know, to me it was a big deal because it was the first VidCon party that I got to go to. So we got ready. I probably, now looking back, was overdressed 90% of the time because I thought everyone was gonna be like dressed to the nines, because also in my head, when I think of California and I think of LA and people who live in LA, I just think of them always looking good and like going above what I would wear. But half of the people I saw were like in jeans. So I was like, damn, I'm out here in a mini skirt and heels and y'all are wearing jeans and sneakers. But it's also like really fun to dress up, so I'm not too mad at it. But we got ready and you go out the hotel. So here's the thing, right? You go out the front doors and there's like different like shuttle stops that you can go to. So you go up to the car and you have to tell them like where you're going. And it's kind of scary because I was so afraid I was gonna tell them the wrong spot and then we would just end up like literally nowhere. Again, that's how my brain works. Hi, welcome. For the party, like they were using bigger cars so they could usher people there, back, whatever. And so we're waiting in line and oh God. So here's where all this starts. We're waiting in line to get into a car and we're like the first ones to get into the car. So we go like towards the back row and there's more of us, so it just makes sense. So we go back there and I'm just sitting there and I'm like, well, I'm so excited to go to this party. I'm already so embarrassed. And I'm like watching the next people get into the car. Tell me why it's members like behind the scenes, but still like members of the Smosh team, which if you know me, and if you don't know me, hi. I have watched Smosh, like Smosh Pit, the games channel, literally since I was like 14, like easily over a decade I've been watching these people. And they're just getting in the car and sitting right down in front of me. I see Kimmy, if you know who Kimmy is. I see Kimmy, I see Kiana, I saw Kimmy's, they're married now, right? So husband? Fiance? But they just like, they sit right in front of me and I'm supposed to act like everything's normal. I froze, was so in shock because I was like, they're real people. That sounds so stupid. But I even said it to my friends because we were talking like, you know, who do you want to see? Or like if you could meet anyone. And I was like, I want to see Smosh. I've watched them for so long. That would be such a cool experience. Until they were actually in front of me and then I was like, oh shit, actually I don't exist in the same world as you. Again, that whole thought of like, not I'm beneath them, but like I don't see myself in the same category even though we have the same badge. I've learned, if anything, throughout my VidCon experience, I need to work on not being so hard on myself. But anyway, yeah, they just sit in front of me and I swear this is how I was in the back seat. Yeah. Pay so much money to have footage of me anytime I saw someone that I recognized because I just shut down. I was just like, oh my God. And then like, it was just so bad because, hi, you guys know, I eavesdrop. I'm not very proud of it, but like, I do it. And so just like listening to them talk, they're like, oh yeah, you know, when we go back, like we have to do this for Eat It or Eat It. And I'm like, I know what that is. So the rest of the car ride, silent. I don't want to talk about it. I'm just gonna sit here and wait till we get to the party and then I'm just like not gonna acknowledge they exist. I'm just gonna, again, live in my own bubble like I do on the internet, but do it in person. But that rung out to be very hard because this party, there was like, I think another party that was happening. So this one like wasn't super busy. If you saw one person, you kind of saw everyone. You know what I mean? So we pull up, we go to the line to like check in. It's like at the House of Blues or whatever. So, you know, you have to have your ID, get like a wristband, whatever. And we pull up and I see half of the cast of Smosh there. I see Courtney, I see Chance, I see Angela, I see Arasha, I saw Aaron. I was like, oh my God, I hate that I know all these people. And again, it wasn't super busy. And they were pretty much like on the dance floor the whole night. I was on the dance floor with my friends. I had to have been the creepiest person there. If any of them say something like, oh yeah, there was this weird girl at VidCon the first night. Like she didn't say anything to us, but we could just feel her staring from across the room. They're talking about me. And I admit it, I was so just in shock. I was so scared. I was just like, I know if I just went up to them, it would have been fine. They're super nice. Like anybody that I went up to would have been super fine. Because I met someone else at that party and then anytime I saw them at the event, I was just like, hey bestie, like looking good, where are you going? Like I know I can talk to people, but it's just my head. And I think a part of it also is like this weird thing of like transitioning from watching you guys all the time to actually being able to talk to you. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense, but that was crazy, right? And then that same night, we see Kira, who, if you watch the Thundermans, was Phoebe, or if you listen to her music, super nice. And then like I saw her at a different thing. We talked about like the party, the aftermath and all that. And then like cause there was karaoke during this party. And someone was doing Mr. Brightside, and Kira and I were just like, ugh, 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 like on the dance floor, and it was so fun. Like it's one of those memories that I'm gonna take for the long road. You know, and she's just super nice. Cannot talk enough about her. And she just got engaged. Yay, we love love. It will someday happen to us. You know, whatever. That's not even the craziest part of the night. The way that the House of Blues was set up, like they had like a cute little dance floor that I almost tripped on multiple times. We don't need to talk about it. And then they had like couches on the side so you can go and rest. Me wearing heels because I'm insane and I thought I had to dress up, my feet needed a sec. My friends and I, we navigate over to the couch, take a little breather, take a little second. All of a sudden, there is commotion happening, like between us as a group. And I look over at Davis and she's like, oh my God, Dream is here. I was like, dream? Like dream. So we were on the bottom floor and then there was like a little like second story right here and they had games just over here in the corner. So like obviously Dream's gonna, gravitate over there. But it was Dream, it was Sapnap, George. Like they were all just sitting there just like playing games, like doing their own thing. And it was the trippiest experience because I saw the mask in real life. And it was scary because he was wearing all black, totally concealed, had the mask on, and it almost looked like the mask was either super glued or like stapled to this hoodie. I don't know how this man is breathing through all of that because there is no air to escape. There is nothing. And they didn't stay very long. They stayed there like 10-ish minutes, 15, 20 at the most, and then just left. So I don't know what they did, but it was just weird because I'm like, oh wow, hi. So that's how the first night ended. Got back to the hotel, took off the makeup, went to bed, and had to get up for the next morning because I had my panel. I had my panel that day. And this was the event that I was the most nervous for because, like, I know they did the best that they could, but Vidcon sent me, like, a little thing of what the panel was going to be about. It was about, like, TMI and being authentic online. And they gave me, like, a couple questions to kind of work with, but then they gave me an hour block to do this panel with, like, 3 questions that could be answered in 5 minutes. So I was the most nervous for that because in my head, which I don't think this is how VidCon works, but in my head, I was like, they're gonna judge me on this panel. They're gonna see if I'm good or not. And that's gonna determine if I come back next year, which again, I don't think that's how that works. Yeah, so we got ready. That was like towards the afternoon. So I had time to like make myself cute. I did like little bubble braids and I wore just like a really fun outfit. We went to Starbucks and got a drink. I stupidly did not get anything to eat. I was running off of goldfish and a dream, basically. And then I saw Spencewa. I never talked to Spencewa, but our schedules collided so much. I swear to God, everywhere I went, this bitch was here too. I probably at that point should have just said something being like, girl, what's up? Like, why are we everywhere at the same time? But it was just kind of funny because I swear to God, every single where, all my events, whenever I went to the lobby of the hotel, Spencewa was there. And I was just like, bitch, what the f? But anyway, I went to my panel. There was like little green rooms backstage, which was interesting. It's like just these poles with curtains in the middle of a giant abandoned area. But you like sit in the green room and there's like cookies and stuff and like water. And you just kind of sit there and wait for your event to start. And I was the first one there for my event because as much as I'm like late on here when it comes to like reviewing stuff, in person, I don't like to be late. I was the first one there. And it was cool because then I got to see all the people who are part of my panel come in one by one and like introduce myself, try to be extroverted as much as I could. I want to say I'm, omnivore? I feel like I'm kind of in that route. Like depending on the situation, I can be either very extroverted or very introverted. That was a situation where I knew I needed to be extroverted so that we could feel comfortable on stage. So yeah, it was good. Like I was talking to people. And everybody on my panel, by the way, was super nice. I'll put a picture of them right here. Definitely go and check them out if you haven't. Super sweet. I also saw Allison Stoner backstage, which is wild because the only thing going through my head was the...
She's really good.
But anyway, I went and did my panel, and it was nice because backstage right before we went on, like introducing everyone, I was asking them like, you know, do you have anything that like you definitely want to talk about, things that you don't want to talk about, like what's kind of the vibe, what's the mood? And Cosette was actually super smart and helpful and was like, oh, on a different panel we did like a little icebreaker game. So I was like, oh shit, okay, let's do that. I like incorporated that into the panel, and it was just really fun. And the best part of it for sure, because of course, like I was very nervous. We had like a decent, cute little crowd going on too. And I was just like really nervous for it. I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. But afterwards, Emily was standing next to like a security guard. And I guess the security guard made a comment to Emily saying something along the lines of like, oh, that was like a really good panel. That was probably the best that we've seen of the day. And I don't think she knew that like Emily knew me. So when Emily told me that, I literally cried backstage because I was like, that was so nice. That was so sweet. Because in my head, again, this person doesn't know me. They don't owe me anything. They don't have to be nice. So for them to say that, I guess it went well. Having that little bit of validation, I was like, okay. Because after I got off the stage, I felt good about it. But it was really nice to hear. So that was really fun. And then I actually had another event that night. It was like this little reaction thing. And it was gonna be like me, Sarah, Keith from the Try Guys. But I ended up having to pull out because this girl, again, was running off of goldfish in a dream. And when you move a lot and you're doing a lot of things, that's gonna catch up to you. And I felt extremely sick. So we ended up going to the hotel, ordering food, and skipping like the party that was that night. I think it was the TikTok event. We ended up like not going to it. We actually ended up like not going to any of the other parties because by the time it was night, we were exhausted. VidCon is exhausting. Like in the best way, because it's fun, it's great, you can see people, meet people, but it's exhausting. And I think what it is just a lot of like extroverted energy. And for me personally, like it's me in my apartment filming my videos by myself. My body's not used to that anymore. So I was tired every single night. So that's how that day ended. Next day I had my meet and greet. That was the only thing I had planned for the day. And that went so well. That was definitely like the best part of the trip for me, just being able to see you guys. My biggest fear was that no one was gonna show up. It was gonna be like 2 people, which even if it was 2 people, we were gonna have the best time. Like we were gonna kiki, party, whatever. But it ended up being like, I think like 70 people by the end of it showed up, which was really cool. And then my friends and I, we actually made like little goodie bags, and it had a bracelet in it, like a friendship bracelet, and a photo card of me like signed, which I don't know, is that too much? But it was fun, and I'm really glad like I had that experience. And again, I get to go next year. That's definitely gonna be like the best part of my day. So then after that, we just kind of like, we had free time until the event that night, which was where, because the creators are not allowed like really on the floor, just for like safety reasons, security, all that. So they blocked out like 2 hours where all the creators could go like visit the booths and like go see everything that's going on the floor. So until then, we just had time to kill. They had these like ballrooms in the hotel where it was like different themes, or like different companies would put on a room that you could go walk through and like take photos. Like there was an Instagram one, there was a TikTok one, there was like a Nickelodeon one, which was really fun. I found a giant picture of Zuko. Obviously, I had to take a second. Hello, it's my baby. But I saw more people here. I saw a lot of the commentary boys, and my favorite that I saw was Lorraine. I don't know if you guys know Lorraine. I, again, didn't talk to Lorraine, but I eavesdropped. If I ever meet any of these people, they're gonna... This footage is gonna come back to haunt me. What happened was I was like we were waiting for a room or whatever to get in. And I looked over and he was like talking to a bunch of people, and he seems so nice and so genuine. Like someone was asking, again, eavesdrop, so I know. Someone was asking or like saying, oh my God, you smell so good. He literally pulled out like his cologne from his backpack, showed it to them, was like, oh, do you want to wear some? Like, okay, we're besties. He gives bestie energy everywhere he goes. And that was just really cool to see, because I feel like that's a very easy act to put on, especially for like the way he edits and his kind of content. So it was just really cool to see that in person. I was like, damn, you a good one. You a good soul. Who else did I see? Oh, so there was like a kitten room, or like a cat cafe, which was obviously like, we have to go. And we were in line, and what's his name? Aaron, who's like married to one of the Merrill twins, was there. And Jacob and I were kind of like, you know, just like kind of freaking out. And Jacob, being the like cool person that he is, like said something as Aaron was leaving. He's like, oh my God, like I love your videos. Aaron, like it felt like a horror movie at first because he stops like mid-track, is like staring at Jacob, and we were like, oh shit, did we do something wrong? Like, I'm so sorry. Like, we will never bother you again, King. And he comes up and like hugs Jacob and is like, what's your name? Like, thank you so much. And like makes eye contact with all of us and like shakes our hand, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I have to go do something, but like, if you're still in this room by the time I come back, like we'll definitely chat, whatever. Super nice guy. By the time we left, he didn't like come back yet, but we saw him later that night and he saw Jacob and recognized him and was like, oh, I'm so sorry, like I didn't make it up in time, but like, did you like the room? Da, da, da. Super nice, super nice. Also, speaking of the Merrill twins, I saw them. All the people who are like, you look like a lost Merrill twin. No, they're even prettier in person. I'm like, y'all need to get off of that train ASAP. We also saw, and this is personally one of my favorite stories of like who we saw and like how the interaction went. Do you guys know Ted Nivison? Oh my God, first off, super tall in person, which like we already knew, but like he's tall. Smells very good, very clean. I'm a smell girl, so I can't help but notice. But it was funny because he was by himself in the elevator, and it was me and my friends, and we're sitting there chatting, whatever, like, you know, doing our own thing. And he's like by himself in the corner, and he gets to his floor, and he starts to walk out, and Jacob goes, bye. And Ted turns around and does this. Ready? He goes, bye. Like really quiet. It was so funny. It was so cute. I was like, good soul. You're a good noodle. I knew that, but to see it in person, I was like, good noodle. Love you. And then I also saw on a different elevator ride, which was funny because again, I wish I had like video footage of it. We were in an elevator and like it was my friends over here, it was two people right here, and then like one person right here. This person was like kind of weird, bad energy. Got out of the elevator and we kind of look at the people over here and we're just like you notice that too, right? And then we start like just doing small talk of like elevator etiquette. And I'm talking to this girl and I'm just looking at her while I'm talking and it dawns on me. I'm like, oh yeah, elevator this, like, blah, blah, blah. I swear there was a moment and I'm sure she figured it out too, like, oh, maybe she knows me. It was Mari, who used to be on Smosh Games. And I was like, ah, like what? You were my favorite. You, my girl. And that was just so trippy. I was like, I just had a casual conversation with Mari. That's fine. The next day, her and like Joven and Lasercorn and so Hinky were all vlogging together. Like I literally remember looking and being like, they're vlogging right now. And I'm probably gonna be in the background of it because like I was at Starbucks getting my drink and my food. Sure enough, in the vlog, I see myself and Jacob at the Starbucks counter. And it just made me laugh because I was like, oh my God, I was there. I saw it happening. In my mind, that's crazy. Again, this is my job. This is nothing new. But in my mind, I was like, damn, that's crazy. But yeah, so the rest of the day, like it was a really chill day, which was needed after traveling and just being so busy. And then we went to the floor thing, which was really fun just to be able to explore and just see like what everyone else was seeing. There was like a Squishmallow pit and they were just giving away free stuffed animals. You could just go grab one, which felt criminal, felt wrong. There was like a Paramount Plus house thing that like each room was different themes. So there was like a Zoe 102 theme. There was like a SpongeBob one. There was this like horror one that my friends and I got to make a video for. And it's so funny because of the shoes I was wearing, they got lost as we were filming. Like you can see it in the thing where they come off my feet. It was so funny. And they had, which was really fun, they had like a little mini golf thing that my friends and I did. And I just want to say, this is when I noticed like the universe is cruel. Because tell me why this was like the second or third time at this point that I was seeing a Smosh member. It's literally in the background of Jacob's vlog. Well, I don't think he included this clip, but I'm gonna include it. We're sitting there like mini golfing, whatever, and freaking Amanda and like Tommy and them are just walk behind us. And that happened the entire time. I was like, the universe knows I want to say something, but I just don't have the balls to do it. And yet they're everywhere. Because then later, I see Damien, I see Jackie, I see Short King Shane, which honestly, really not that short. I think he's like my height, which, I mean, I guess, but like the way they describe him, I thought he was way shorter than me. And it got to the point because I was like, that's my short king. And Jacob was like, I'm gonna go say hi and introduce you. And I was like, if you do that, we're never talking again because I need to just like process this from afar and then maybe we can get to that step. Right? But just remember that because it happens like pretty much the rest of the trip. And that's leading to actually the big story that I'm about to talk about right now. I'm trying to think though before if there's anyone else that I met that was like super nice before I forget. I don't think I really met anyone else. I mean, like I met a couple people that I wish I knew their name because they were just super sweet, very personable. And I definitely met people who I don't know who were very transactional. And I did not like that. That was not the vibe. For me personally, I think if I was to ever like collab with someone, want to have some sort of like a footing with them first and just have like some sort of a friendship established. I feel like that comes across camera as well really well. Plus, I don't want to put myself in a position where I'm just doing content to make content with someone who like I wouldn't even like. You know what I mean? There's definitely a couple instances where I just saw people who were really like in the machine. There was this one girl who in the elevator immediately like pulled up her Instagram and was like, go follow me. Like without even really talking to us. It was weird. And then I wish I knew who this person was. Davis and I, last night, I got an invitation to go see Talk to Me, which SAG, don't listen because I'm not promoting, I'm just talking about it, which was really cool though. It was a whole screening, so we got to see it like a month or so before it came out, which I may or may not be saying that you should go see it, but like whatever. And then afterwards, we got to hear from the directors who are twins from Australia, and they started off on YouTube like making shorts, this, that, whatever, and now their movie just like doubled their budget the first week of release. So it was just like a really cool experience to see someone who has been in our position, to see them go more the traditional route and it actually being successful, and just hearing from them like the struggles and their advice. Like it was a really cool experience. I'm so happy we went and it was fun. We got like free popcorn, this, that, whatever. Not the point of what I was trying to say, but there was this person. So you had to like sign in, get like a wrist thing, whatever. And then you had to go to another line to go to the bar and show your ID, prove you're 21. And this guy, like he was obviously older. I don't know how much older because he was also a white man. So, you know, sometimes they're 24 and they look 46. He didn't bring his ID. So the lady was like, oh, I can't put a wristband on you because like, I can't verify that you're over 21. And he started like pulling out this card. I don't remember word for word what he said, but it was basically along the lines of like, if you don't know who I am, like this is my ID and I'm gonna go to the bar. And he put his hand up to her face and just like walked away. I wish I knew who this person was. I don't. I hope that you guys don't watch this person. And I don't even know if it's like, I don't know if he's like part of a team or a solo creator. I don't know, but he was just not the vibe. He was not nice, did not like him. You know who I did see though at the event? I saw Nathan Zed. Y'all know Nathan? Oh my God, love Nathan. There is a lot of people who are super nice, but there are definitely a lot of people who are like, I'm a creator, I'm an influencer, and they need to like, step down. Oh my God, I'm so stupid. I'm like, is there anyone else that we met? Girl, this is like the biggest story before we get to like the main story of this video. I know, I'm dragging it out. Whatever. Remember how I was talking about, we were like, oh, if there's one person that you want to meet, who is it? Jacob's was Drew of Wallow. Y'all know Drew. I think it was the second day we pull up to the hotel from, yeah, it was after my panel. And we pull up to the hotel and she's in the line for the shuttle. We're all looking at Jacob like, Drew's right there. Like, do you want to say hi? And he was kind of scared, but he eventually did it, took a photo with her. So incredibly personable. And it wasn't the first and only time that we saw her. We actually saw her multiple times after that, to the point where we went to her panel the last day and she just looked at us like, okay, this is getting weird. Hey, do I need to call security? But it was just like a fun little joke. And she even said that, being like, yeah, anytime I see you, it's gonna be like our thing. She's so nice. I didn't take a photo with her because at that point I was too afraid to ask and be like, or even introduce myself and be like, hi, I'm the creator here. I was just having fun. I was just vibing. Yeah, Drew, incredible person. Jason, like her sister, everybody is so nice. Definitely keep supporting them because what you see on camera is what you get in person. But anyway, so this leads us to the title of this video, really. It's Sunday, it's our last day of VidCon. I don't have anything scheduled, so we were like, you know what? We're gonna go and like watch other panels, figure out a way to do it, because someone that I met in my meet and greet, and if you are watching this, you know who you are, brought up like, oh yeah, I was at a panel, I saw Ted Nivison just like sitting, I think it was for Matt Pat, which I wanted to also see. I never saw Matt, but like that would have been cool. Yeah, Ted like went in the audience after it started and then like left before it ended, so it wasn't like a security issue. And I was like, oh, we can do that? Guys, we should do that. So we ended up doing that the last day. We had like a couple set up, which one of them was Drew's. But the first one we were gonna go to was Anthony Padilla's. He had a panel. It was like a I spent a day with situation, but we didn't know who it was. I was kind of guessing like it was gonna be someone from Smosh or like the whole team from Smosh. I was just like curious. I was like, I would love to go see it. We timed it, you know, we got up, got ready, we timed it well, went downstairs, was able to, again, we had Starbucks every day for breakfast, but those sandwiches hit. Perfect. So we get our stuff and it's like 10 minutes until his panel starts. But thankfully, like where we were going, it wasn't super far. So we were just gonna make it because we weren't gonna go out into the crowd anyway until right when it started. And so we're waiting for the shuttle. And tell me why I look to who is going to be in the car with us. Cause you know, it's like a 6-seater car. And there was 4 of us, so there was room for 2 more people. Tell me why it was Noah and Keith from Smosh. And I was like, I'm gonna be stuck in a car with them when I can't even speak. Okay, thankfully I had my little sandwich, so I was just able to sit there and munch and like mind my own business. And like no one really talked in the car, so it was pretty quiet. We're all sitting there in the car. It's like me and my friends right here, Jacob's in the front, and then like the 2-seater right here is Noah and Keith. So I'm just sitting there eating whatever. Noah turns to Keith and is like, oh, we have like roughly 10 minutes until it starts, we're good. And I was like, we're not going to the same event right now. And so then I was like, do I say something? But then I was like, I don't want it to sound like I'm eavesdropping, which I am, but I don't want them to know. So again, just sat there, minding my own business, whatever, doing my thing. And so we pull up to the event, and for the car service, it's interesting, like they had people usually open up the door, which was like really fancy. It's like, ooh. Made me feel like a lady, you know? But the guy opens up the door, Keith gets out, and then Noah starts to get out. And since I was in the back, I was right in the middle. Obviously, for everyone else to get out, I have to start getting out of the car. So I get up, I start going, I'm turning to like, you know, go out the door. And the door just whoosh, slams right in my face. And I'm sitting there like... But then Noah opens up the car door, is standing like this, and he goes, I am a terrible person. I am so sorry. And if you know Noah, like you know exactly like the voice, the stance, the whole shebang. You know exactly what I'm talking about. And it was hilarious because I'm sitting there like laughing because I'm like, this would be my first interaction with the Smosh member, one of them slamming the door in my face. But I'm laughing and I'm like, dude, you're so good. Like, you're late, go ahead, don't worry about it. And like he just runs off and makes the panel. Like I'm not mad about it at all. It genuinely is like my favorite story because I think they were so caught up in making sure they were there on time that they forgot we were in the car. Because before we even got in the car, the way that it was set up, like me, Davis, and Emily were like, oh, we'll sit in the back because there's 3 of us, so you guys get the 2. And they're like, are you sure? Like, that's super nice. I know it's uncomfy back there. And we're like, yeah, no, that just makes sense. And they're like, cool, yeah. So it's like we had a conversation before that, but like from the hotel to the convention center, it was like a blur. I don't know. It is so funny though. So if you were watching this video, like that's the story. And you're like, oh, I want tea. I want to know who to hate. Don't hate them because it's genuinely hilarious and it's so funny. And if I do ever get the courage or the opportunity or the chance to talk to them, that is definitely like gonna be the icebreaker. Especially if I get to talk to Noah and be like, do you remember last year at VidCon? He slammed the door in someone's face. That was me. It's just so funny. It was so good. But yes, we did that and then saw Drew's and then we went to like Smosh's, or no, Smosh's panel was before Drew's. But we saw Anthony's and then we were like gonna go watch the Smosh one because they were doing Try Not to Laugh and I thought it was just gonna be like a really fun time and it was. But it's so funny because before they went out, the way that we have to go out to the crowd is like the backstage area. So like I'm just sitting there and I'm staring at all of them. Like at this point, I've seen everyone either at the hotel, the events, whatever. before. And it's just like seeing them all in one group. I'm like, I could go say hi. I could do that. But I don't know if I want to. Yeah, we go out in the crowd and watch them, and it was just so trippy because it's like I watch these all the time. Like I watch your guys' Reddit stories. It's part of my Saturday routine at this point, or even Sunday morning. Like while I'm eating, I'll watch it. It was just so surreal, and I'm actually like, in retrospect, I'm really happy that I just took this opportunity to just take it all in and just kind of self-reflect on like what I need to do to feel more comfortable. Because this was really, again, this is my first YouTube event. So this is the first time I've been around creators or been in a space of my peers. They didn't feel like my peers, you know? Like this was just all very strange. And so it was cool to just have that experience and think, okay, now I know what to work on for me. So next year I can just come with like the best energy, really put myself out there, make some friends. I was really hoping, if you guys know Mac Does It, I was really hoping Mac was gonna be at Vidcon, but he wasn't. Because I was like, that's one of the people that like, you know, I've talked to on Twitter that I would love to actually make a real life friendship with, which I could still do, but it's like scary. Again, I just don't want to be annoying. Anyway, I guess now that's everything. This is probably a longer video. Again, very chit chatty, so hopefully you were watching this while eating, maybe put on makeup, use it as a podcast, but I hope you enjoyed. I hope I get to go back next year. If not, let's not talk about it because I'll be very upset. But anyway, yeah, love you guys a lot, and I guess I'll see you in the next video. Bye.